always loved trains. I'm never happier than when I'm tinkering away with my own train set up here in the attic. Signals, stations, sidings, old carriages, new carriages. It is the greatest fun. I'm Peter Snow, and this has been my passion ever since my dad bought me my first toy train when I was just 4 years old. I enjoy mixing different carriages from different eras, making my own unique train. Which got me thinking, what if I could do this for real? Well, me and my partner in crime, engineering whiz kid Henry Coe, we thought we'd get onto a mad idea. In order to delve into the history of the railways, we're going to restore 4 iconic carriages.
We're getting together a band of brilliant restoration experts from all around the country. Each group will bring back to life a carriage from a different era, from an 1860s four-wheeler to a 1960s Pullman dining car. We'll even restore a royal carriage, an antique monster designed by the man who made the Flying Scotsman.
I'll keep across each restoration. This is terrifying.
And I'll explore what it was like for the passengers who travelled in them.
It's so luxurious, you know, it is fit for a queen, isn't it?
We've challenged all our restorers to complete their work in 6 months, when we'll put the carriages together to create a real-life time train, representing 100 years of railway history. Isn't that a really beautiful sight? And the icing on the cake? I'm going to fulfill a childhood dream. I'm going to learn how to drive a steam locomotive. Can we go much, much faster?
No, just a little bit.
Oh, wonderful. So I can take our unique train on her first incredible journey. For many of us, this is the golden age of the train. Not just a proper cream tea, but a beautiful dining car to eat it in. Now, sadly, this kind of luxury dining is now all but confined to a few heritage railways. And on the main lines, you're lucky if you get a plastic cup and a bag of crisps off a wobbly trolley. But in the heart of Birmingham, they have a dream to change all that. Tyseley Heritage Engineering Works is one of Britain's biggest. Acre upon acre of sidings with dozens of locomotives and carriages being brought back to life. And one of them is ours. In a siding over there is a massive challenge. A 1960 Pullman dining car. Not a carriage, a Pullman is always a car. And first-class Pullmans always had a unique name. Ours is called Eagle. And here she is, a once luxurious car from the last batch ever produced for the British Pullman Company, right here in Birmingham. Her distinctive brown and cream Pullman livery is in a shocking state. And as our first carriage to be made of metal, not wood, her bodywork has succumbed to the restorer's nightmare: rust. Hard to imagine now that she was once part of a pristine Pullman fleet as they carried well-to-do business travellers in and out of London's King's Cross on the East Coast Main Line right up to 1978. She's now a shadow of her former self, but remains a last great beacon to the iconic Pullman age. What I love about this car is it's got 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in the future. She was built in 1960 as a modern replacement for the aging pre-war Pullmans, and even refurbished in 1970. The seats deliberately redesigned with the upmarket businessman in mind. She's a child of the Formica era, and there's plenty of that in evidence. The challenge in restoring this carriage is to recreate the huge romance and luxury of a Pullman dining car while respecting its modern design. And let's not forget the most important bit of all, the kitchen. Pullman passengers expected 5-star cuisine. And this one needs to cater for dozens of discerning diners on the move. Getting this back to working order is an almighty challenge. Luckily, here at Tyseley, there's a top-class restoration team primed for the job. Dave will overhaul the car's heavy engineering so she's safe to run.
Instead of being like that, it's going to slightly like that.
Les will strip out that all-important kitchen and work on the interior.
Carriages used to be £1,000. It was a bit expensive when you just got a mortgage. I bought a bus instead.
Carriage maker Stuart leads the repair of the bodywork, both outside and in.
We, all the volunteers, the carriage fairies.
And Nigel's the artist. He's got to give this rusting hulk a top-quality paint finish.
Hopefully there's not too many surprises.
Michael Whitehouse is the boss of the works. A man, like me, who's been mad about trains since he was a boy.
Steam engines have been in my family ever since I was born. They're part of the DNA, they were part of the holiday, beach in the morning, steam trains in the afternoon. Nice, warm, oily smell, it's irresistible.
Before I can get a look inside our Pullman, we need to shift her into the works proper, using the turntable. And, a bit of fun, I'm getting a lesson with Tyseley Chief Engineer Bob Meanley.
This looks like the control handle here, is it?
It most certainly is, yes.
Right, so what do I do?
There's the pointer. Turn the handle until it's pointing there.
Right, here we go. Yes, we're on.
And we're off.
What a wonderful machine. This thing's carrying a huge weight, isn't it?
Yes, about 40 tons, Peter.
40 tons going round in circles. Extraordinary. I've always wanted to stand on a locomotive turntable.
You need to shut off, Peter. We're going to go by. We've gone by.
Oh, sorry. Hang on, Bob, we've gone too far.
Yes, we have a little bit, Peter, so we need to go back.
Yep, Roger, I'll go this way. It's coming in the line. Gone past it.
Yes, never mind.
Back a bit.
Just back a little.
Oh dear, never had this trouble with the swingometer.
They went right there.
Just there.
Where have we done it?
That's it. Well done, sir.
What fun, that was terrific.
Once Eagle is finally in her new sidings, it's time for a closer inspection.
Michael, so this is your Pullman. It's fantastic, isn't it?
It will be fantastic, Peter. It's a bit tatty at the moment.
So what are you going to do to this now to get it up to scratch?
Well, this coach has got to run at 100 miles an hour, so we've got to make sure it's structurally sound.
What's the tricky thing to do?
The tricky thing is the inside looks pretty tatty, but
The outside looks terrible.
Yeah, it's awful, yeah. Awful, but the inside needs reupholstering and new carpets, and we've got to deal with the original Formica. So people will be happy to pay a supplement to have a good meal in this Pullman car called Eagle.
But if there's any chance of that happening, the team need to sort out this kitchen.
God, this is going to need some work. This really is going to need some work. Michael, this kitchen looks a huge challenge.
It is a bit of a challenge because it's 60 years out of date, and modern technology and safety appliances have moved on a lot since it was built. And this fridge doesn't comply with any standards at all.
But how many people are going to be working in this kitchen?
Oh, well, we'll have one chef, and he'll probably have about 4 people to help him. There is a pantry as well, so they have to be pretty cute in ducking out of each other's way.
Five people? There are 2 of us here now. We've got 5 people.
Yeah, it's very cramped, and we're standing still. Imagine when they're bouncing along at 100 miles an hour. It's pretty bouncy.
Amazing.
All of this luxury was aimed at the 60s premium business traveller. They would pay a hefty supplement of 16 shillings on a ticket from London to Edinburgh. And in return, they'd get a gentleman's club on wheels. There was even a private compartment, perfect for hammering out business deals on the move.
This is where all the deals were done, coming out of London King's Cross in the evening with the champagne.
So this is a mobile boardroom kind of thing?
Mobile boardroom, that's right.
Restoring this lost world is going to be no small task. This beast is truly massive. A 5-star restaurant on wheels. It's based on a British Railways Mark I carriage weighing 40 tons, state-of-the-art back in the 60s. But the whole thing now has to meet modern safety standards. A tough call for something designed in the final days of steam. With its 25-seat dining room and separate boardroom to boot, This is by far the biggest restoration we've undertaken. And on top of that, we need to be able to cook and serve a 3-course meal from that kitchen. But then, as Henry's been discovering, railway catering has always been tricky.
Before the Pullman car, railway food was regarded as so bad that Punch magazine sent it up. Are those sandwiches fresh, boy? I don't know, sir. I've only worked here a fortnight. Welcome to railway catering, circa 1875. Now, the idea of a restaurant car or even a buffet was unheard of back then, mainly because you were crammed into a compartment and you couldn't move around the train. But you could buy a hamper in the station. For 2 and 6, the London North Western Railway would offer you the Democrat. In it was some bread, some ham, some cheese, and also a bottle of pale ale to wash it all down with. But the posh lot, 2 carriages up in first class, they would be offered the aristocrat hamper for 5 shillings, and that would include a half-pint jug of sherry. You don't get that on the West Coast main line. Certainly more appealing than a pre-packed sandwich. But one American visionary was transforming the romance of railway catering from simple straw hampers to haute cuisine.
We might still be eating out of those railway hampers were it not for a man called George Pullman, whose name is on this car and our car, Eagle. From the 1860s, reimagining railway carriages as restaurants on wheels, Pullman first built his empire stateside. It made him a fortune.
But Pullman didn't just build coaches. His idea was to operate them, putting them on other people's lines and making people pay a premium to ride on them.
In 1874, George began exporting his franchise.
The first to arrive in Britain came as a sort of flat pack, made in America, reassembled in England, and it changed the face of dining on our railways.
On a Victorian-era Pullman, the catering was more lobster and champagne than beer and bread, and diners' bottoms nestled on soft furniture. It was the height of fashion, luxury, and craftsmanship. It's this level of craftsmanship that makes Pullman coaches such icons and so appealing to restorers like Les Simpson, who's the first to start work on Eagle.
Everyone understands the beauty of a steam locomotive, but do they appreciate the work that goes into the rolling stock? Well, that's where your journey's made.
And it's lucky he feels this way because he's got to unscrew every piece of this massive interior by hand and by himself.
Another tight one. Yeah, there's got to be pushing up to 3,000 screws in one carriage. The slotted screw, you can't use power tool. They slip off the head, because the heads are worn as well.
After Les has unscrewed pretty much everything on Eagle, the others turn up.
Right, are you ready, chaps? This may be heavy.
Stripping out Eagle has been a time-consuming task. Everything they've taken out needs to be either refurbished or recreated before it can be put back in. A massive restoration like this is not a job for the faint-hearted. Tyseley in Birmingham is Britain's biggest heritage railway works, a £1 million business and testament to our crazy love affair with the railways. They have around 30 locomotives and a dozen carriages in restoration, all drawing huge crowds of enthusiasts on their regular open days. And it's where our great Pullman car, Eagle, is being brought back from the dead.
We're now 2 months into the restoration of Eagle, one of the last of the great Pullman cars to be built in the UK.
She represents the final hurrah of the Pullman era. a throwback to the prestige and glamour of a 1960s railway dining car. The inside has been stripped bare, but as befits a luxury Pullman, it's vital that Eagle looks the part on the outside too. But this work is revealing a host of nasties, which carriage work expert Stuart has to fix.
Oh, this is a lot better, Stuart, than it was when I last saw it. Uh-oh, problem here.
Yes.
Still something to do there before you start rubbing down and so on.
Yeah, we'll need to cut out anywhere where there's perforations, so across the bottom of the sill and then down here. Weld in fresh steel, and then we skim over with this filler.
And then you rub it all down?
Rub it down and then start building up the paint.
How long does the rubbing down take? How many weeks have you been at it?
Good 3 weeks on this so far.
Blimey.
Mostly handwork.
Better get on with it then.
OK, just put on the mask.
Even helping out for 20 minutes or so, you realise how tough it is. Priming the bodywork is the next stage to getting Eagle shining as new and worthy of the brand. The team needs to recreate the famous brown and cream livery, first adopted by the Pullman Company in 1906. Eagle's got to look the part and be up to the job, because as well as joining our time train, she will ultimately be carrying paying passengers on a special mainline service. Michael oversees their tourist operation here at Tyseley. It was his dad who first opened the place as a centre for steam preservation.
He was one of the world pioneers in rescuing railways. A group of mates rescued the Tyneside Railway after the war in 1951. It was the world's first preserved railway, and it never looked back.
But it's Michael's train set now. The line from Tyseley was once part of the Great Western Network. It used to run south through Cheltenham to the West Country.
The line stops these days at Stratford-on-Avon, but you can still experience what it was like to travel on in its heyday by taking the so-called Shakespeare Express. And it's this service that Eagle will be joining when she's finished.
It's all about recreating the star quality of the Pullman from the days when anyone who was anyone dined on board. This is the quintessential classy image of a Pullman. Discerning passengers waited on in their plush seats by attentive stewards. A Pullman offered luxury and glamour in equal measure, an icon of romance on the railways. And it's this heady mix of nostalgia and elegance that the Birmingham team is trying to recreate here on the Shakespeare Express. Not least in the kitchen. Like any chef, Ben Mason's goal is to make mealtimes special. But on a train, there are unique challenges.
How on earth do you do it stuck in here?
I would like to say it's magic, sir, but...
It's tiny.
It is tiny. It's a feat of organisation.
Now, we're stuck in a station at the moment, but when you're rocketing along at, what, 75 miles an hour, how on earth do you manage it then?
You get used to the motion, but let's say a driver is less than gentle with the coaches. We have had some pots of soup come off the stove and straight onto the floor before, at which point there were some very choice words said to the driver, and he didn't get his dinner either, so...
Today, I'm joining Michael on board for a taste of Pullman luxury. We're sampling home-baked ham with minted new potatoes and chanterelle carrots, expertly prepared by Ben in that tiny kitchen.
What is it about eating on a train that's so lovely?
It's just fabulous fun, moving scenery. You can't do it in a restaurant. We're going to interesting places. These are very nice coaches, they're lovely. Eagle's much nicer. It's a first-class Pullman car.
Unbelievably. We're sitting in a second-class coach now.
This is a second-class Pullman car.
So good old Eagle, when she comes along, she'll be even smarter than this.
Exactly.
So let's hope that Eagle makes it to the deadline.
Here's to Eagle.
Whilst the management and I relax over a top-class lunch, the restoration team is hard at work. Expert welder Dave is focusing on Eagle's metal bodywork and how to make her safe enough to add to Michael's fleet. safety on the railways is all about how carriages are built and what they're built from. Henry has been investigating.
Right up to the 1920s, carriage bodies were still being constructed out of wood. Teak for the frames and cladding, pine for the roofs. But the cladding in teak was becoming seriously expensive. So the companies had to find an alternative material. And they found it in this sheet metal. Before the 20th century, steel had been incredibly expensive, but the invention of the blast furnace meant rolling mills were able to produce cheap metal sheeting just a few millimetres thick. Carriage companies were using sheet steel to clad their carriages, screwed into a wooden frame. It may have been cheap and it may have been quick, but it didn't make the carriages any stronger. After the war, British Railways devised a whole new way to engineer a carriage. And this is it, the Mark I coach. Now the entire structural framework was steel, with crash pillars at the corners for protection, and the whole thing securely welded to the chassis.
Steel made carriages much safer. And for Eagle, it means she'll be able to speed along at 100 miles an hour. But only if Dave can save some of her safety-critical parts from that old enemy, rust.
So now, why did you have to take that piece out?
This section here forms part of what they call the crash pillar. Vehicles doing 75 mile an hour plus, in the event of an accident or anything, this is designed to absorb any impact and as a crumple zone, really, and take the impact through it. But as you can see here, the water's come down through the channel. It's got nowhere else to go, so it just rots and it just corrodes. So you go from that thickness there, which it should be, which it came out of the factory with, to that thickness there, which is absolutely nothing, which will take no, impact at all.
So yes. This is a vital piece of metal. It absorbs.
Oh yes, yeah.
As
you can see, somewhere in its life, it's already had a prang.
Yes. Yes. So what next? What are you going to do about it?
Basically, what we'll do now is we'll clean all this area up and we'll weld another new piece of top act section into there.
Big job.
Well, yes, yeah.
All yours, Dave.
Yeah, right. We'll get this one welded in there.
A truly successful restoration relies on incredible attention to detail. And that's Stuart's real strength.
This is about the first time I've done this. Because this font is unique, we need to copy it because it will be obliterated within the next couple of hours in preparation for the repaints. Sign writing seems to be a bit of a lost art nowadays. Most of what we do is vinyl transfers.
Using Stuart's tracing, this unique lettering can be perfectly recreated after Eagle's rotten old paintwork is redone.
Hopefully we won't have to repaint her for another 5 or 6 years.
Soon the team will have to tackle this, the detailed design of the Pullman crest. But for now, our coach painter, Nigel, has just started on what will eventually be 10 coats of paint. It's our first glimpse of how good she can look. But the inside is a long way off. Les is still beavering away on the basics and finding more hidden problems.
We've had water ingress into the windows, and it has literally rotted the plywood away.
And as for that kitchen...
Oh, my goodness me! This is terrifying.
I'm a true train enthusiast and can while away many happy hours up here in my attic. But there's nothing more fun than playing with the real thing. So across the country, 4 teams are working flat out, bringing back to life iconic coaches built between the 1860s and the 1960s. Here in the heart of Birmingham, We're attempting to revive a grand Pullman car that was scrapped in the 1970s, a victim of twin competition from the motorways and business air travel. Eagle is one of only a handful left, and she hasn't run in decades. Are we on schedule to change that?
It's quite a few weeks since I last saw Eagle. Back then she was a mess. The insides were tipped, the outside full of holes. I'm hoping for a change.
We're over halfway through our 6-month schedule, and the team here at Tyseley must make sure Eagle is ready to join our 3 other restorations for our time train.
Oh, my goodness me. She's really looking like a Pullman now. Beautiful brown paint down here, cream up there. This is a real Pullman car. What a fine sight. What else have you got to do outside now?
Once it's varnished, it will be lined out, the crests will be applied and the lettering.
Can you make it? That's the question.
I think we'll get there, yeah. I think we'll go down to the wire, but yeah, we'll be there.
Stuart sounds confident enough, but our focus isn't just on the signature brown and cream paintwork. What about the guts of this Pullman? And whether we can cook in here?
Oh, my goodness me. This is terrifying. This is supposed to be the heart of this Pullman car. When I saw the rest of the car, I thought, well, this is looking rather good. But this is chaos. I mean, this is the kitchen. What on earth are we going to do? You couldn't even boil a kettle here right now.
We need clean surfaces for food preparation, new burners to cook on, and that old fridge has to go.
The old fridge, which was the original, was it 57 years old, was condemned. It ran on gas and there's damage inside, so we decided to remove it and replace it with a more modern appliance, possibly energy efficient. So we've dismantled the fridge now, and this is just the tail end of the bits and pieces.
With so much still to do, there's nothing for it but to get a little extra help.
You won't take all the texture out of it, but if you can just flat it back.
People power is deployed to bring Eagle's luxurious wooden panelling back to its original glory.
My granddad and my dad will be very proud. They were both drivers and firemen down here at Tyseley. So that's when it all comes from, really.
These people are all volunteers. Every Thursday evening, they come from miles around to get involved, driven by a commitment to preserving Britain's rail heritage.
I want to sort of go back to that boyhood dream and get involved with the railways, and Tyseley's a fabulous place to live out the dream, really.
We tend to call the volunteers the carriage fairies because we come in on a Friday morning and there's been a quantity of work done. We can move on to the next stage.
If we can get some of this basic work done, then it saves the other guys a lot of time. Great to make a contribution like this.
This hard work will make all the difference to this interior finish. All of Eagle's 40-ton weight rests on just 8 wheels, and it's those wheels that form the most safety-critical elements of the entire coach. And that's what Henry's been looking at.
Now, one of the most important safety men on the railway back in the day was a chap called a carriage and wagon inspector, also known as a wheel tapper. Now, he'd have a hammer like this and he'd walk along the carriage or engine tapping the wheels. Now, if they made a nice crisp ding like that, then all good. But if they made a dong, that could mean there was a very serious crack in the wheel.
Also vital is the shape of the wheel, where it sits on the rail.
Now, you might think that a wheel is actually flat, but it's not. It's angled. And also, there's a chamfered edge just here. Now, if this edge gets worn, the carriage may wobble about or even derail.
To avoid that, Eagle's wheels will be re-profiled on this massive lathe before being refitted to the undercarriage. Hopefully, when Peter gets to drive our time train with Eagle attached, it'll be a safe, smooth ride. If he can learn how to drive, that is.
Don't worry, Henry, I'm on it.
Once our 4 coaches are all restored, we're going to pull them on a special time train. 100 years of history behind a steam locomotive. And if I pass muster, I'm going to drive it. Madness.
So far, I've learned how to polish the brass, fire the engine,
Here she goes.
and monitor the steam. Now I'm moving on to my final lesson before graduating to driver. And that's signalling. Nigel's here to show me what to do, while Malcolm takes care of the driving.
Now, Nigel, why do I have to worry about signals?
Because when you're on the line here, the driver can't see most of the signals to the left-hand side.
So I certainly can see the signals. I see one here.
But that signal is off. That means it's OK to go.
OK to go. It's actually up on an angle like this.
It's up on an angle.
OK. It's not pointing horizontal. That's bad. That's stop.
That's stop.
Got it.
So you'll tell the driver and you'll show him a thumbs-up sign.
I see.
Because he can't always hear what you're saying.
OK.
Handbrake is off.
There's a lot more to the job of fireman than just keeping the coal burning. Men could expect to spend at least 20 years doing this job before they were allowed to graduate to driver.
OK. Woo. Signals are saying go.
In that case, you'll tell the driver.
Saying go, Malcolm.
Thank you.
More coal.
And you'll need water as well.
Will I? Right. OK. Here we go. Open.
Yes, open, please.
Signals go.
And steam.
Is there anything I don't have to do?
You don't have to drive at the moment, not until you pass.
Next signal is go. More pressure.
Yes, you're right. We need more pressure. You better turn the water off.
OK.
A little more coal. Down the front and down the right-hand side.
What?
Down the right-hand side.
Oh, let me have a look out the window.
Thank you. No hole.
I'm now doing all the jobs that would have been required as a fireman, as the driver's number 2. Stoking the fire, checking the gauge, topping up the water, and reading the signals.
I see a fireman's job is not exactly a sort of easy holiday. Well, I think I've just about cracked the job of fireman. Busy stuff. I've been shoveling all that wretched coal in and playing with the water and looking for signals and so forth. But next time, I'm going for the dream job, driving the train.
While I've been having fun, the team press on. But with no seats, the inside remains an empty shell. The Pullman's armchairs with their dusty blue covers from the 1970s need a makeover. So they're being stripped by upholsterer David Kirk.
Take one stapler at a time till I extracted teeth. Always wanted to be a dentist. That is that.
Out with the old velvet and vinyl, and in with a design more in keeping with the romance of the classic Pullman era.
Say the key is remembering where all the screws and plates go when you put them back together again. This is that many.
At last, the comfy seats can be fitted back into the carriage. Just 3 abreast, lots of room for those first-class passengers. But our Pullman still may not deliver a smooth ride. Dave's safety inspection down below has thrown up a problem.
As you can see, it's clearly broken and it's not serviceable anymore. Rather than people drinking their champagne, they'll be wearing it, and the pots and pans in the kitchen certainly will be going everywhere, and the chef wouldn't be too happy. So we're going to lift the bogie up, leave the wheels behind. To access the spring, we can remove the spring, replace it with a new spring, and drop it all back down and put it back together.
Simple, or so it seems.
The axle's going up with the bogie. So what we have to do is just try and ease it back out again. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Right then, we're... Right. That's it. Voila. It's in.
every little setback eats into the schedule, and the little details, the vital finishing touches, like the Pullman crest, are still a work in progress. I've come to Chris Hall's Printworks, just down the road in Birmingham, where they have a rich history of creating crests for the railways, dating back to 1871. It's a trip down memory lane, to a time when every railway company proudly flaunted their brand with lavish emblems.
Now, Chris, this is a work of art. The magnificent finished crest that you've done, the Pullman crest.
In 1906, Pullman rather loftily based their logo on a royal crest, with two rampant lions holding a shield representing the four nations of the United Kingdom.
That's a transfer that you've put together, which you slap onto our train. Now, how on earth is that done?
Well, we start our life with a piece of transfer paper, make stencils, and each individual crest is built up from a series of individual colours. So there's maybe 19, 20 colours in this thing.
Each colour a separate stamp, as it were.
That's right. Every day, the printer will print an individual colour. It will then kind of dry overnight, and it will go to the next colour.
One a day? One print a day?
One print a day.
So right. This blue harp here...
Yeah, that's right.
That little print there...
That's a day's worth of print on this job. Yeah, that's right.
And there might be 20 colours, there's 20 nights.
That's right.
So
yeah,
well,
plus because you've got the varnish and the contour to print on top of the job.
OK. Very meticulous process. And how much would this have cost in the old days?
Well, we've got some ledgers here, some various designations for carriages, first, second, third, luggage, and you can actually see the prices there.
So these are the transfers. 500 first-class crests on the doors would cost £5. Expensive.
Oh, don't forget the 4 shillings and twopence.
This early design will adorn a panel on the inside of the dining car. On the outside, near the 4 doors, will be an updated version, specially designed in 1960 for the new fleet of Pullmans. It will be one of the last jobs to be ticked off the to-do list. Our 6 months are almost up. When Henry and I return, Eagle must look good enough to face the world. It's 0 hour. After 6 months, it's finally time to see how the restoration of our 1960s Pullman car has turned out.
In an hour from now, Eagle will be doing her maiden run, pulled by this little beauty, the very last steam locomotive to have run on the main line.
L94 is a former Great Western Railway pannier tank engine, sold to London Transport in 1959.
Hello there.
Good morning, Peter.
She is a beauty, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a nice engine, this one.
Can we have a look at the fire?
Yes, of course.
Just check you've got some coal in there.
Open the blower, make sure we've got a good fire going.
Oh, yeah, look at that, red hot. My joke, look at that. That's terrific.
While L94 gets steam up, there's one final finishing touch to get done. Paul Hughes has come in to get the name on the car. From Stewart's tracing, he's made a vinyl transfer of the original font.
I trained as a signwriter. Spent 3 years with a third-generation signwriter. Unfortunately, the world's moved on. It's vinyl graphics, but as long as you can create the right style and things, you can still create the right look. The difficulty becomes is when somebody just puts a more modern typeface on it and it just kind of looks wrong.
With the name firmly applied and looking just right, it's time for Eagle's first run in over 20 years. And Henry's here too.
I think it's more or less done, don't you? I hope so.
I hope so.
Later, from our Pullman's reconditioned kitchen, he'll be helping to serve a celebratory lunch for all the team who've worked so hard on the restoration. But first, it's time to pull Eagle out of the shed, back into the light, and onto Bob Meanley's turntable. It's been a stunning journey. Just 6 months ago, this Pullman dining car was rusting in a siding. To live up to the Pullman mystique, the team have had to completely strip the paint. And so that she can run at top speed safely, do plenty of heavy engineering. But has it paid off?
Oh, God. The moment of truth.
That's right.
Beckoning. Oh, my God, it's beautiful. Look at
very
it.
exciting.
Peter, look at it. Oh, she's gorgeous.
Isn't that wonderful?
Look at the finish on it.
Absolutely amazing.
Peter, give us a hug.
Oh, my dear boy. Isn't it great?
It's fantastic.
She's gorgeous.
Amazing.
But look at this beautiful emblem on the side here. Magnificent.
The paintwork is astounding.
Absolutely lovely. And what do you make of the underframe? Is that looking pretty impressive?
Mate, as they say in the trade, that's come up beautiful.
I know what it was like only a few weeks ago. I want to see inside, don't you?
Up you go.
I'm up, I'm up, I'm up.
They've worked nights to restore the wood and create virtually new seats, all by hand. Driven by a dream of making this faded interior luxurious again, restoring the romance of the Pullman. And boy, have they succeeded.
Stuart, you must be thrilled with this.
Yes. Hasn't turned out badly at all, has it?
How would you describe how difficult it's been?
Part of the difficulty was the time scale. To do this in 6 months is pushing it. It was interesting, shall we say.
But restorers always say that, Pete.
Sure.
I'd had 2 years on it, you know.
How much nicer could it be? It couldn't be nicer.
No,
I mean,
it
the
couldn't.
wood, this is magnificent. Beautifully done, isn't it? How did you get these walls so beautifully shiny?
Through an awful lot of elbow grease, sanding it back by hand and then varnish on top.
These chairs are fantastic.
Yes, the original was a green velvet upholstery with a black vinyl trim.
It was pretty horrid, I remember.
This
These
is
are
lush.
rather nice.
Gotta tell you, mate, I think you've absolutely nailed it. It is lovely. What do you reckon, Peter?
I think it's magnificent. I might want to sit down and eat a large meal now.
Well, let's do it.
Come on, then.
Are the kitchens working?
Yes, right, let's go.
Another transformation. The cooker, the surfaces, it's all back in working order.
Wow, so this is the kitchen. Not exactly homes and gardens, but it'll do the job.
Now to get the rest of the team on board. For the first time in 2 decades, our Pullman is taking to the tracks once more. One last wheel tap from Bob, and we're ready to roll. Everyone who's worked on the restoration is on board to celebrate their achievement.
We're off. She's moving.
Nigel painted every square inch of her. Dave made sure she's safe.
All that welding was worth it then?
Yes, it's paid off. She's running again now.
Did she get her held together while we ran?
Well, I'm sitting on here, aren't I? So I hope
Keep
so.
your fingers crossed.
Yes.
With her newly profiled wheels and the broken spring now replaced, we're promised a smooth ride. Just right for enjoying a top-class lunch.
All we need now is some food, right?
Certainly do.
Right on.
There's plenty of posh nosh on the menu, and it's not just any menu.
Now, this is the Pullman menu from 1960, the very year that Eagle was built. Now, sadly, I'm not a chef, so I can't do duck or l'orange, or I think that's orange and duck or something, but I can prepare this.
Smoked salmon, potted shrimp, and a salad garnish.
Wow, that looks glorious. Michelin starred.
Yeah, well, it's a great triumph, isn't it, Les?
It sure is.
It ought to be. Les is the man, after all, who removed over 3,000 screws by hand.
We got there in the end.
Yeah, well, you certainly had. Henry!
There's more to this waiting, Lark. Meets the eye.
Oh, Henry, how very nice of you.
Ah, thank you.
That does look delicious.
There we go, boys. Oh, I've just trodden on your foot, mate. What?
For me, a Pullman is all the railway should be. Not just a way to get from A to B, but a place to celebrate life in all its richness.
Eagle will soon be steaming through the heart of England, bringing back a taste of first-class Pullman luxury. But first, she'll be joining our time train for an incredible celebration of Britain's railway heritage. And to complete my dream, there's one final very special carriage to restore. Next time, a royal coach used by Queen Victoria herself.
And I'm now heading to Yorkshire, where amazingly her personal carriage survives. It's a carriage with incredible secrets.
Grape away this muck. It's gold.
You're joking.
Which demands the very highest royal standards of those restoring it.
Queen Victoria will be turning in her grave unless you do it properly, mate.
I understand that. I understand.